to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome into the Cinementalists, where today we are going to be discussing Wild at Heart, released originally on August 17th, 1990, adapted from the novel by Barry Gifford, written and directed by David Lynch. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. This is your fourth Lynch film?
Yes.
Do I have that right by my count? Am I adding
Velvet,
up correctly?
Eraserhead, Fire Walk With Me. I believe. Yes, I think that sounds about right.
All right. Fourth Lynch. Lynch.
Oh, nope. Dune. Dune is in there technically.
Fifth.
So yes, fifth.
Fifth Lynch.
But
so it's making the top 5 for now.
Yes, it's definitely making the top. I mean, 100%. It's making the top 1, perhaps. I don't. It's a
okay.
It's strange. I don't know. And now that I've had time to sit with the others as well, I think I put Eraserhead below Blue Velvet. I think that was just the Kyle MacLachlan rise I was on.
Laura
during
Dern.
Geeks. I think
there's a lot. There's Isabella Rossellini. There's a lot of juice there.
But I view Eraserhead higher and kind of as like the most memorable one, or the most out there experience that I've had for Lynch so far.
Quintessentially Lynchian, for sure.
And this very, very way different from Eraserhead, obviously. But I think if I'm going to return to one of them, I don't know. This one's like fun, and it's such a different take on romance that I haven't gotten out of the romance movies I've watched.
No,
so far.
I
feel like
wrong,
but it's
no matter how well versed you get in romance movies, there are very few people who are going to go Wild at Heart. What a romance film, you know. Obviously, true. that is the overarching theme for the month, is romance, and today marks a year and a day since David Lynch's passing, which made it just the right choice for today. Was to hit a Lynch film, especially Lynch's take on romance. I think was the right choice. And I mean, again, this is about as Lynchian a romance film as you could possibly find. I think that Laura Dern and Nick Cage have just incredible chemistry. Sailor and Lula is an all-time movie couple. And you're not far off from a place I was my first time around. Upon my first viewing, and it might have been probably my 5th or 6th Lynch movie when I watched it at the time, I immediately felt like it was my favorite. I was like, oh man, I love what this has to offer. I mean, it's got Willem Dafoe being an absolute fucking freak. It's got Isabella Rossellini being super fine, which we all love. It's so many Peaks regulars popping in and popping out very quickly. Yes. Grace Zabriskie, the most notable among them, most present, but we get David Patrick Kelly. We get a little Sherilyn Fenn. We get a little Cheryl Lee.
Yeah.
We get some goodies. We get some Jack Nance very briefly. So it's got all the Lynch flavor, but it has this romantic twist to it. And don't get me wrong, there's romance that exists in Lynch stuff. It's not beyond us. But it's very rarely the point. And I think that this is the only movie in his oeuvre where you can say it is the point of the movie is the romance between the protagonists.
Yeah, where it's maybe just the even extra, like beyond it, is like romance does come in many, many different shapes and packages. It's not always the super nice and up for the movie, you know, I don't know. Like the typical kind of where they're just normal people, I'd say, you know, not to say that we don't have, you know, this is just a different flavor of normal, you know, I guess for them.
But, you know, that's being very, very kind to Sailor and Lula, I would say. I don't think that they would take offense to being referred to as abnormal, you know?
True.
They're
unique. Yeah, they are themselves.
Very unique.
My individuality. People. What is the
it's a metaphor, an expression of my self-expression and individuality. Nick Cage obviously doing an incredible Elvis impression here. Not his first movie where he gets to do something like that. Shout out Peggy Sue Got Married, directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Okay.
Definitely another Elvis-esque Nick Cage turn. Yeah, no, it might be genuinely my favorite Nick Cage ever. That I have very little doubt about.
Yeah. I'm there.
Laura Dern gets tougher. David Lynch gets tougher. You know, don't get me wrong. Nick Cage has an incredible filmography of some absurdly high highs. And I think that this might very, very genuinely be chief among them. But for the others, hard to say for sure. Laura Dern, and you know, David Lynch for me, when it comes to the ever evolving door of, what's my favorite Lynch? Because I don't have a regular, that's my favorite. You know, Fire Walk with Me is a good fallback because it's Peaks, and it's I love Peaks, and it's, you know, it is Peaks the movie. It's the perfect one to kind of cop out to. Yep, love Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me. And don't get me wrong, that's one of the greatest movies ever made. It's easy to go Blue Velvet. It's easy to go Eraserhead. I love Inland Empire. So that's the thing, is that there's so many movies he's got that I struggle to tell you that this is even top 5 Lynch for me.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is, that's a testament to the filmography he's put before us, because romance is my shit, dude. Romance is my shit. That's how incredible his other films are for me. And don't get me wrong, this stands amongst them, holding its own. Hard for me to tell you that this is my favorite Lynch. And you know, I think that it's one thing I do love about it. And don't get me wrong, I love a lot about it. I'm not trying to say this is so easily towards the bottom. No, there's nothing that's easily towards the bottom besides Dune. And that's because he didn't get final cut. We didn't get Lynch's Dune the way Lynch wanted to do Dune. He decided he was going to do whatever his producer wanted, basically. He became a yes man. He resents himself for it, and that's that. Wild at Heart has an incredible sense of morality, which I know is kind of always the sense that Lynch possesses. You always know right from wrong. You know, but what doesn't matter is what I love is when you get into when all of it is wrong, what's the most right? You know, and that's something that this movie does excruciatingly well. And it draws such a hard line in the sand and is kind of quintessential to Lynch's filmography, kind of a question Emily has asked me before, recently when we watched Blue Velvet a few months ago. For the podcast, she watched it for a second with me, and she goes, "Why is a woman always being assaulted in a David Lynch movie?" And that's
common. Yeah.
It's very common. It's extremely common, and the reason is that Lynch sees it as the epitome of an evil act. There's very little you could do that is worse than that, and I love that this movie outright has Sailor kind of be like, as shitty and goofy and morally questionable as Sailor is, one thing he will never do is disrespect Lula. You know what I'm saying? He loves Lula. Oh, when he goes down and he's getting arrested, oh, Lula, I really fucked it up for us this time. You know, I really did it. I'm so sorry. He's apologizing to Lula who's not there. And I love again, I love the romance. I think that they just have such a keen sense of that dynamic, and they perform the shit out of it in this one.
Yeah, I think most of the movie that's in my head is near the end, or most of the end stuff. But I forget how fun the beginning of the movie is too. It starts out hot as well, an attempted assassination into a murder or manslaughter, technically, not murderer, manslaughter,
self-defense. Yeah.
So we're good. But put a hole in the back of that dude's head. That's insane.
Graphic. Yes.
Yeah, and then there was from the beginning, I'm okay, this mom, this mother, is one to kind of look, and when it slowly just kind of kept unfolding of gave you more and more of what happened that day, and then the mom taking him into the bathroom and doing all this, and yeah, Lula, I mean, we're on our way to get married and all, but I thought I'd tell you this now. And it's just everything just kept getting, it's like a train wreck, all that's going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they're the only two that matter in the world. It doesn't really, like, Lula just, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, they are in some of the worst, like, motel rooms. I don't know. Well, I guess she threw up. That's why there was kind of maggots on the floor. She was pregger.
Ugh.
So, like, yeah, I don't know. Many things going on, but, like, the living conditions, I guess, weren't great. They were just kind of on their way. But it didn't matter. Like, it was just, they just liked to dance
down that yellow brick road.
Yeah.
I love all the Wizard of Oz stuff. Love the Wizard of Oz stuff. I've brought that up before with our Twin Peaks podcast, Fire Pod with me. Lynch's reverence for Wizard of Oz is the most present it ever will be here in Wild at Heart. There's some pretty blatant one-to-one referencing with the portrayal of Diane Ladd, the actress who portrays Lula's mother, and is also Laura Dern's actual mother.
What? That's her actual mom?
That's her actual mom.
What
they
the
are acting
fuck?
as mother and daughter in a movie where they are actually mother and daughter. And
That's
quite
crazy.
the vulnerability to display with your mother at times here, as far as the performance is concerned. It's really incredible. Diane Ladd, another legend of stage and screen who we lost last year. Passed in 2025. Devastating loss. Incredible performer. And just really, really brilliant actress. So yeah, Diane Ladd does a great job. But the references to her as kind of the Wicked Witch. Whenever Willem Dafoe's character assaults Lula, or harasses Lula, I'm gonna go with assaults. And she clicks her heels trying to get home. That imagery. Obviously, Cheryl Lee getting to give the best rendition we've ever seen of Glinda the Good Witch.
Let's go. Oh my God, I'm so
hyped.
I couldn't believe it. I had no clue she was in the movie at all. And then I was like, huh? I'm like, yeah, it's working for me on every level here. And yeah, I thought like, wow, Lynch used, just the F, like just an out of date term. I'm like, wow, the only thing that's dated. And then he gets back up and he's like, sorry for referring to you fellas as homosexual. I don't know. And I'm like, oh my God, like it was just so good. Like what a turnaround. I thought he was actually walking away there.
You fellas have helped me learn a very valuable lesson. Lula. Yeah. I mean, and again, it is still. I texted you last night and I said, good news is it's about as relatively straightforward a narrative as David Lynch is capable of putting forward. And there are, he has a movie literally called The Straight Story, which is a very straightforward narrative. And then he has the movie The Elephant Man, which is based on, is like a biopic. It's a story about a real man, and therefore there's not a lot of liberties to be taken. As far as the abstract storytelling is concerned. Don't get me wrong, he still does some Lynchian shit, imagery and sound-wise, but it's very, very straightforward. This is more in that Blue Velvet lane, where it's like, there's obviously a story, there's a beginning, there's an end, there's an obvious narrative through line, and obviously we're taking some pretty wacky, zany turns along the way. And then you have another level of things, which is Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire, all that sort of stuff, where it's kind of like, what is the story? Let's get to the bottom of it. I'll figure it out. But
I don't know whether I should go simple or off the deep end even more from the next Lynch. But no, it was nice to have, like, maybe that's why I'm kind of latching onto it so hard, is that it was it's still opportunity to kind of, like, there's abstract stuff to think of, but it was like just a cool move, like fun, like just it's funny for one.
It's electric.
And it's just so like I feel like when the radio is playing, they're traveling like down the road, and Lula's driving. He's sleeping in the back, and she can't get any music on. It's all just shitty things like being heard on the radio. Like
God,
here murder, or here's like all and like she like
mutilated. Yeah.
And
they turn on heavy metal and then just get out of the car and fucking rage. Like yes.
And that's so I don't know, like to be able to just live life that way. It was, and it is kind of like I'm like third wheeling or just kind of like this weird, spectator and joining in on their fun adventures, and yeah, they just love to go dancing. They love and they're in the club. That one dude tries to dance up on Lula, and he has to. I'm sorry, I have to do this
to my woman.
Sorry,
I got to do this in front of a crowd. Yeah,
but I have to. This is my duty. And just Lula they're just the perfect couple. Like they both have the hots for each other just so much. Like they are.
You just danced up on the wrong girl is all. Yeah, I fucking like. Oh my God, it's so fucking great. And I love the letter she writes him where she's like, and I miss driving and dancing with you. And the other part, God, I really miss the other part. Like I love like it's such a fascinating depiction of sexual intimacy in this movie, which is that it is one of the like premier themes I think this movie tries to put forth is the exploitation and sexualization of violence, which is something Lynch himself has been accused of. Through his depictions of violence against women, and Tarantino has gotten accused of it a lot, and with him it's a lot more founded. But I think that there's such a beautiful, again, a line in the sand when it comes to the morality play of it all. Like, to compare it to Tarantino, who has a lot of those, he does a lot of stuff that goes, here's somebody doing the worst shit ever, just so I have an excuse to murder them brutally later on. And that's it's cathartic whenever it does happen. Whenever the guy who sexually assaults Beatrix Kiddo in our hospital bed gets his head smashed in the door, like, yeah, love that. I'm a big fan of when he gets his head smashed in the door. But that's why she got sexually assaulted, is so he could smash her head in the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a delicacy I think that Lynch handles these sorts of devastating ideas, like the idea that Lula's dad's business partner assaulted her when she was younger. There's obviously that's harrowing for her to recollect. They do it repeatedly, where she remembers it. She remembers her mom. She remembers all of, like, my mom wasn't there to see much of that. And then, like, they show that her mom was there to see a bunch of that. So, like, there's a delicacy in the way that it weighs on Lula versus the way something like that happens to Beatrix Kiddo. It's just like, well, I get to murder him and that's that. Good stuff. It's over. And I think that there's just an empathy depicted when it comes to Lynch, that he understands what, and it's hard to say that he understands, because I mean, like, he's a man who presumably, at least publicly, has never been sexually assaulted. So there's it's hard to say that he understands, but it seems he has a profound empathy for victims of assault. And I think it's depicted again with her reclaiming her agency, sort of, with Sailor, like taking an active part of her sexual identity and going, this is a key part of my love life with Sailor.
And like she always had those, it was, I feel like, the sexual assault early in her life, and then also the fire, like just any trauma she had, and how it just sprung up off of, like, the smallest of like the woman screaming in the other room reminded her of her mother's scream, and then something, I guess, kept that fire visual kept coming up over and over again, and then, like,
she would hear her mom's laugh over it. Sounds like the Wicked Witch, and all that. Yeah, it's And obviously Sailor was present for that. There's a lot of lore layers there for sure.
That's a big bomb to drop, to be like, yeah, the trauma you've been holding on to. Now, you can't quite really picture in your head. You have it's there because you're young. Oh yeah, I was there that night. I swear I didn't do anything. I just sat in the car. That's all I did. But yeah, that's tough. A tough bomb to drop after you've hit the road already, and you're already on the yellow brick road, and then you have to process that, and then I'm pregnant. Okay, another thing. Things were moving very fast.
One of the things that I adore about the movie is that there isn't a destination.
Yeah,
they're not chasing something. They're not heading anywhere in particular. I think their goal is the beach. Like, I think that's like, it's sunny California. That's where they want to get. But it's not like, and here's why. It's there's this big, there's this score I want to take down. No, nothing like that. It's just like, you deserve a trip to California. Forget my parole. Let's go. And that's romantic in and of itself. But again, referring to it as the Yellow Brick Road, thematically indicates that they are chasing something, that at the end of this road, all their questions will be answered, all their wishes fulfilled. And ultimately they Big Tuna, ends up being Oz, as it were.
I don't know if this is truly the destination, but it's the journey. It's that it is the Yellow Brick Road or the traveling down. I feel like that is the part, but yeah, it's the Wizard of Oz thing to me. I feel like I've always just viewed that movie as just kind of very surface level of like they are in that world, and then they come out at the end. She's back home in Kansas. It's not like such a distraction from reality. Like a things are so bad here that I concoct this whole other reality in my head to live inside of, and then I see like such a traumatic experience of what was his something Willem Dafoe's
Bobby Peru
here. Bobby
also
Peru.
Bob.
Another Bob. I mean, fits here for this movie. But yeah, the freaking teeth. Oh my God, the licking of the lips.
Oh God, disgusting.
Oh my Lord,
disgusting.
But just taking a piss, that's a bad interaction.
Actually,
that is
taking
a bad
piss,
day.
By the way. Willem Dafoe on set really doing some pissing in that moment. Just an interesting fun fact that I do know for whatever reason is that Willem Dafoe is actually pissing in that toilet while he's reciting that scene, which adds a layer of talent on his part and a layer of scummery on the characters.
Timing, kind of crazy.
Also, of course, film setting. No, I mean, he drank a lot. I think he planned for it. He was like, this is something I'm
like, all right, got to piss. Let's run it.
Lynch also famously gets stuff done fast.
He just had to piss. He's like, holy fuck! All right, perfect timing for this scene. I gotta go anyways, guys.
And that's the other is that like if it was the right take, it was the right take. If he'd feel it, it'd be like okay, like if he did one take and felt like they were good, and they moved on and they never did anything again. That's another thing that's incredible about this production is it was incredibly fast. Incredibly fast production kind of happened in the middle of Peaks. Again, this came out in 1990. Which is when season 1 of Peaks premiered, and they'd already been confirmed for a season 2.
Okay.
So season 2, I believe, at the time of production here, was well into production, which is what kind of took him away from production of season 2 of Twin Peaks there in the middle. And he'd already been wearing thin on the business side of TV. Like the fact that there was as much studio and network interference as there was kind of pissing him off, and I think it kind of motivated him. I need to go make a movie that is literally whatever the fuck I want it to be. Which is kind of why we get something like this.
Like I wonder what he prefers, over like what he enjoys making more, like a movie like Eraserhead where it is super abstract and I don't even know how you even write that movie or how you go through that process, or making something like this that is like on the surface like a lot more fun and rock and roll and crazy wild, wild fun. But I wonder like what his brain kind of enjoys to make more, because this seemed to me as kind of like just I want to have a blast while making a movie and still have my kind of twists on it at the same time. Like,
this seemed easy to me. This seemed like a way to blow off steam. You know what I'm saying? Like not
nuts. This is him like, all right, I need to make a movie. Let me just
throw together Wild at Heart. And I don't mean that in a negative way, of course not. And again, he's an artist, and there's nothing half-assed about anything he did. You know, like the only thing that you could even kind of make that argument for is Dune. And again, it was because Dino De Laurentiis had final cut of the movie. And at least this is what he says. He says Dino De Laurentiis had final cut of the movie, and whether consciously or subconsciously, eventually he started making the movie that he imagined Dino would want, not the movie he wanted to make. Which could be a cop-out after the fact, but regardless, I believe it just because watching it, I think you can feel it. There's not as much Lynch there, and there's still Lynch there. It's irrefutable at points what Lynch is capable of, but it's not entirely him.
Say here he doesn't really go that hard into it. It's really kind of only whenever there's a match struck, where there's a fire.
God,
gotta super zoom in on
match. Whenever he like zooms in on the match and you watch it like engulf in flame, I love that. I love that.
Man, it's kind of like lighters. They're cool and they're very convenient, but nothing man, is it just so fucking cool to strike a match? That's I don't know why it's so. Smoking is just so cool, and
smoking kills, but it's sick.
But it's sick as fuck, and like Laura Dern, I feel like at least I get the vibe that she does not like it. Even as like Diane, I feel like she does not. She'll do it for the screen, but it's kind of. I don't think it's something she likes to do. I don't know why I get that.
No,
feeling.
There's actually a behind the scenes story here with this movie in particular, where you'll notice there's a couple points. Like one of my favorite shots in the movie, just like memeable format, which is funny, is whenever she hands him the note that says "I'm pregnant." And he puts 2 cigarettes in his mouth and lights them, and fully intends on smoking both cigarettes. Like that's so funny. But there's a story behind the scene where Lynch had Laura Dern try to smoke 4 cigarettes at once, light all 4 and hit them, and she passed out.
Oh my God!
And when she came to, he was like, "Tidbit, are you okay?" That was his nickname for her, Tidbit.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah,
Tidbit.
he always had nicknames for his favorites. She was Tidbit. Kyle MacLachlan was Kale, which is funny.
Kale.
Dale.
Dale. K-Dale.
There's something there. There could be that actually really easily could be, but apparently that started much earlier, like on Blue Velvet and on Dune.
He knew he was his Dale Cooper from day one. He's been I don't know, but he has this Nick Cage, not quite a regular enough.
Not regular enough, but there is an interesting fun fact about Nick Cage's performance method that comes with this movie, which is that it motivated him to kind of give up on method acting. Because up to this point, he was a pretty steadfast method actor, but Lynch makes such impromptu and profound changes to his ideas so quickly and on a whim that it was kind of impossible for him to method as Sailor. And again, when you have a creative like Lynch at the helm, an actor's job is not to be method. You are not disagreeing with Lynch on what your character would or should do.
He decides. It's like a Wes Anderson. If you're in a Wes Anderson movie, you just kind of surrender to the flow.
And now and that's what's beautiful. We've talked about this several times before with the difference between like Wes Anderson and Paul Thomas Anderson. Whenever Benicio del Toro left the set of Phoenician Scheme and came back with all these ideas for One Battle After Another, and was like changed One Battle After Another completely, just from basically not limiting himself on the Phoenician Scheme set, but like being inspired by a creative, having such direction and going, I know exactly what I need to do for this. And that creator will let me do it. And the fact that both of those can result in such fantastic movies, and that all these different methods can end up creating lasting and beautiful art, I think is one of the most beautiful things about filmmaking for me, is that there's no one right way to do it.
Can you imagine
and Lynch
trying to method act and being hit with a more wind, and just being like, okay, no, I think that does.
There's a reason Daniel Day-Lewis was never in a David Lynch movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
the ultimate method actor.
There's just versions of. There's actors and there's directors who simply wouldn't work together. They wouldn't jive. It would be impossible, and that's like a premier example of it, in my head.
The Wes and Lynch crossover. I guess Willem Dafoe is sticking out. He's in both. How much crossover is there between the two? I feel like a very limited group there.
There's not much more than that. Laura Dern should be in a Wes Anderson.
Is she?
It's actually,
I know.
Naomi Watts should be in a Wes Anderson. There's kind of a crazy slate of actors who I'm like, man, they should be in a Wes Anderson movie. Kyle MacLachlan obviously should be in a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah. I mean, now, Wes, you got to do it now.
Grace Zabriskie would cook in a Wes Anderson movie. Sarah Palmer, I would love to see her in a Wes Anderson movie.
Was Willem Dafoe really the only one? I guess the
only one I can think of off the top of my head. And as far as I can recollect, I think this is the only movie Willem Dafoe is in David Lynch's filmography.
Wow.
Justin Theroux. I don't think Justin Theroux was ever in one. Yeah, now I'm thinking of like just they were in a couple and that was that, what's his name? Bill Pullman. He was never in a Wes Anderson movie, although again, I think he would have been very good in a Wes Anderson movie. And obviously era-wise, very, very tough to compare. True. I think that the last half of Lynch's filmography occurs after Wes's first film. So, there's just an era thing there also.
Very different feelings for the movies that they're going for. Just very different
100%.
Movie makers. But, yeah, it's funny that Willem Dafoe is just kind of that. He's that guy. Good. I don't know. He's everywhere.
Willem Dafoe is genuinely one of the greatest actors of all time. And that's such a hard blanket statement to make as far as, just how many actors there are. And, there are so many actors who have done one of the best performances ever in one role and then never really did a ton else again. Willem Dafoe has been so good for so long across so many genres, for so many creatives in so many different ways. He played Jesus Christ for Martin Scorsese. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
He played Jesus Christ for Martin Scorsese, and he's been Spider-Man's biggest villain for John Watts.
Yeah, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. From Jesus, to Bella
the
Baxter's
Goblin himself,
creator.
The Loveless, Catherine Bigelow's directorial debut. He just plays a fucking biker in that. There's just an insane breadth of talent for Willem Dafoe, and he's still one of the greatest doing it. If he's in a movie, you go, let's see what that's about. You know what I'm saying? There's just a magneticism to him, and I think he does continue it here as Bobby Peru. Whenever he gets shot and then blows his fucking head off, my God.
Oh my God. It was so cartoonish almost, it was
100%.
Holy shit, bro. Just dropped, he realized he was already on the way out. I did not expect the double barrel to the chin, and kind of falling on your sword a little bit, but with the double barrel, and that was gnarly.
Whenever his head rolls away and it's like a mush inside of a stocking, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's he was just put there, he didn't even care if he died almost. It was just so that Sailor was on that path. It was that he fulfilled his role. And that was all that kind of needed to happen. And it was like a maybe because like seemingly like Sailor knows it's the wrong decision. He's there turning around before he's even, he's like, I shouldn't be here. He's like, why am I even here? Oh, I'll come, coming back. And then I feel like he knows, like, from the first step is like, no, I shouldn't do this. It is a deal, like, kind of from the dark, the dark. It is set me up. Yes, it is for future good, but no, can't be all right. And I think,
and he was cooked from go. Like they'd always planned on fucking him over. Like there was never anything in it for him. Now he obviously doesn't know that, but Perdita and Bobby Peru obviously have other plans because they work with Grace Zabriskie and Marcellus Santos. Yeah,
Santos.
That's his name. Yeah.
Yes.
That's who they work for or work with in some capacity. And I love that there's like this. Again, you said before we tuned in here that you listen to the Peaks ambience during the during the Lynch stuff regardless. And we kind of said that there's not much, but there's not nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a little bit of, I see a little return in this, not obviously not the narratively, what the fuck is going on? Is any of this real? Is this a dream sort of stuff? I mean, but again, with the Wizard of Oz, I woke up and you were there, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there. The Wizard of Oz, I can't believe I never brought this up on the Return podcast. Holy shit. Literally happens inside a dream.
Damn.
The Wizard of Oz does.
True. Yeah, and dreams. Like maybe like that world that's being dreamt of right now isn't real, but it's such a dream to you, and it is your perfect world that you'll do like anything to make your world like that. So like a
love me tender,
and
love me sweet.
Lee loves the power of dreams, and it's everywhere in his work. I feel like, and just this
all
weird
over the place.
The power.
God,
just
I'm
good
gonna watch
evil.
Eraserhead tonight. I'm gonna do it. It's over.
It's time?
It's already done.
Another
it's decided.
One. I feel I haven't gotten
over.
through. I need to get through all of his movies, or like most of his movies, before I rewatch. I feel like a crime to not go on to another.
Man, I would love if you hit. I mean, fresh. I mean, and I'll spoil this for the listener. So here's the thing: is that if you are also a Fire Pod with Me listener, that show's not over yet. Sorry, we finished recording it. We are on the other side of the return, so we will not spoil the return, all that good stuff. We're never going to do that. But what I will say is, fresh off of Peaks, you got to watch Lost Highway.
Lost Highway, yes.
Lost Highway.
Which one is this?
Magnetic and absurd and bizarre. There's doppelganger stuff. There's red curtains. There's an embodiment of evil. There's... Lost Highway is the most Peaks movie that isn't Peaks Lynch has, in my opinion.
Is it pre or post?
It's post. It's post.
Okay.
It's post the first two seasons, pre the Return, of course, because the Return was the last thing he ever got the chance to put his name on. Man, yeah, no, and that's the thing, is that we will one day cover every Lynch thing. There's no doubt about it. It's something we're going to do. We've already. This is our fourth Lynch coverage, fifth if you include The Return and Twin Peaks. Because we've done Blue Velvet, we've done Eraserhead, we've done Firewalk with Me, and we've done Wild at Heart now. I would love to try to do the Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire trilogy, because that's just a bizarre mind fuck of three movies that are unofficially a trilogy. Like they go together very, very well. But there's no carryover character-wise or anything. It's not like an actual trilogy, but spiritually it feels like such a profoundly good trilogy of movies.
It feels like this could happen. Like, it's strange that he has his own like universe of sorts, or like we even in The Return. Or certain things go, are we in a dream? Where are we? Sort of thing. It's all just different worlds, different minds of his. But here, like the Isabella, what's her last
Rossellini.
name? Yeah, her character here, like, I don't know, just is kind of like a out in that house, like where he meets her and it's just very visually him already, and just their interaction as well. Just like, have you heard anything? You tell me if you heard. It felt like a Mr. C, I don't know, interaction almost.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like checking in.
That's what's so cool, is that something that takes a little bit to get there with regarding Lynch is his visual sensibility. Like, looking at something and knowing David Lynch did it is not as obvious. It's not as obvious as Wes. It's not as obvious as even Martin Scorsese, or they're like early, like there are different eras of Spielberg where you're like, oh, this is aughts Spielberg, or this is 80s Spielberg. There's different stuff where you can kind of point to. Lynch, there's this fascinating. It's not his priority, but it's also, he has the way that he does it. There's and I have no idea how to describe it. And obviously sometimes it is, this shot is for the way it looks. And that's, any filmmaker is going to take advantage of that. You have a camera, it's a visual medium. You're going to go, the point of this moment is the way it looks. There's never an unintentional moment with Lynch either. You know what I'm saying? Like, things look the way they look because he wants them to look like that. And that's incredible. And now production design, sound design, and cinematography, those three things combined are probably the most quintessential to capturing Lynch's identity as a filmmaker. And now I know that sounds obvious. It's like, well, of course, the way things sound, look, and present themselves. Yeah, it's film. But it's how heavy a hand he takes in all three of those things. Like, Jack Fisk is the notorious Lynch production designer and has gone on to do, I mean, he's an Oscar-nominated production designer. He's done so much stuff. He's an incredible, incredible production designer. But he got to start with Lynch. They worked together on Eraserhead, and his short film that got him in with the AFI was a short film called The Grandmother. And The Grandmother, he literally, in his house in Philadelphia, painted every single inch of a room black so that it was so that it was what he needed. It was what the film needed. He painted the entire fucking room black. It's all shot in his house. Like, there's just such a care taken and a brilliance and a creative genius behind what Lynch does that when it comes to Wild at Heart, it feels, by this point where he's done Eraserhead and he's done Blue Velvet and he's done some Twin Peaks and he's been nominated for Best Director with Elephant Man and Best Picture, like, it feels implicit. It's like, this is just obvious. Like, obviously Lynch is doing what Lynch does, and that's that. It's still that good, like, it's still that good, and it's still that intentional. Like, there's just so much, there's so much beauty and so much darkness, and I think that Lynch just fully fucking gets it. And I don't know. I just don't think there will ever be an artist I'm as passionate about as David Lynch. And this is again, like I said, lower half of my perception of his movies. Like, I do think I would put this outside the top 5 in his 10 features. But it's that good.
Yeah, of what I've seen, it's tough to put kind of anything above. Eraserhead and Blue Velvet are just, I mean, those were
Blue
so
Velvet's
cool
special,
and so good.
man.
Yeah, I mean, like, both of those are so good. And I don't know. I might just be recency bias here that I'm just loving this. It is like an all-timer Nick Cage movie for sure.
Again, Nick Cage has done an incredible amount of incredible stuff. There's just also, like, when you go to Laura Dern and you look at that filmography and you go, holy shit, Laura Dern has been in a ton of brilliant stuff. Like Certain Women is one of my favorite movies of all time. She does a great job in it. Jurassic Park, that's just an obvious lob that like, when it comes to Wild at Heart versus Jurassic Park,
Damn.
I mean, I don't know how you fucking compare the movies, but I'm not even going to begin to. But like Little Women, she's Marmee in the 2019 Greta Gerwig Little Women adaptation. Like she's just done so much beautiful, incredible, I don't know, quintessential work that when it comes to Wild at Heart, she's done Blue Velvet. So like for me, it can't even be. It can't be my favorite Lynch, and it can't be my favorite Laura Dern because I have a Laura Dern and a Lynch that I prefer to it, and it's together.
Yeah, Holdo Maneuver, dang, has that too. I always forget.
Last Jedi,
the
Last Jedi, baby. Like, and now obviously Star Wars, I almost judge on a completely different plane than I do everything else. It like doesn't count. But The Last Jedi is good enough where it might, for me, it's just she's an incredible actress, and she can get all the credit in the world, and I still don't think it would be enough for how brilliant she's been on screen for as long as she's been on screen. Because again, this was 1990. This is a 36-year-old movie come this August. This is a 36-year-old movie come this August, and Blue Velvet turns 40 this year. That was 86. She's masterful, and I think that she is obviously Nick Cage gets to have a lot of fun as Sailor, and the identity of this film I think is deeply tied to Nick Cage's performance of Sailor, but the performance of the movie for me is Laura Dern. I think that she's the one who brings the heart to the Wild at Heart. Like there's that moment whenever she says this world is wild at heart and weird on top. Like I want to get that tattooed. I don't like it's not like it's mostly I don't even love the way the words sound. Like if I put those on my body, I would almost want to go quote like credit Lula played by Laura Dern, because like it's the way she delivers the line that makes it feel so impactful. That I mean, she's crying, she's sobbing through tears. She tells Sailor, "This world is wild at heart and weird on top." And I'm like, you were so fucking right, Lula. Like there's just so much. She just, again, it feels like almost like she's Lynch's access way, and she's the gateway here. She is the viewpoint. And I think she's just an incredible character. And Lynch cared enough about the character to name his youngest daughter after her. His youngest daughter is named Lula Lynch.
Wow. LL. The double L. The double R almost. Not quite. Does he have... No, I don't know. That wouldn't work with Lynch. But yeah, Lula. Like, definitely the... I feel like Sailor, the only real arc he has is like, he makes the wrong decision, he gets fucked up, thrown in jail again, like Sailor's just kind of Sailor, I feel like, and Lula does have to go through quite a lot, and remembering trauma, becoming pregnant. Is this a good idea? What are we actually doing here? And I love that, like, there is this kind of raw, like, violence is hot. Like her mother is like attracted to, sees the blood on his hands, or is like, oh dang, like that. There's something weird or sexual about like just violence that is there. But Lula's love for Sailor isn't due to that at all. I feel like it is like Lula has to like forgive the manslaughter,
just the right thing to do, baby.
The everything, but yeah, I guess, who knows what he was actually doing in his past, with Santos or whatever work he was doing. He could have been killing people on the regular. But yeah, like the morality of whatever, I don't think that matters. It's like they are just loving each other and trying to love, and it's Lula doesn't love him because of the because of his violent nature. It's just because of who he is, and Sailor loves Lula just for who she is as well, and not just the just because of
I'm sorry to interrupt. I fucking love that the issue at the heart of this movie is never about their relationship. You know, like a lot of, again, we talked about like the structure of a romance film pretty recently. I believe it was with Past Lives, how like there's not a falling out. There's not a, oh, you're not right for me, I'm not right for you. Well, but they eventually find their way back together. And obviously that does happen very, very briefly at the end of this movie.
Yeah, I guess with prison, but they're not actually apart.
Yeah,
you know, she's like she's
writes
not seeing
to
anyone
him.
else.
He writes to her. He goes and meets her, and he's like, "It's actually just the right thing to do. It just makes sense."
Damn.
And it's minutes. It's minutes apart before he decides it's not gonna work that way.
Gets his shit rocked, met by the good witch, and then he's like, "All right, fuck, you know what? I actually am. I've been stupid. I know what I have to do now." Yeah, it was. But I love that.
God,
like
Cheryl Lee, this is one of my favorite one scene performances ever. It's one of my favorite categories. Is just pop in, pop out. That's it.
Not afraid. You know, she didn't have to. She was not assaulted. She didn't have to scream at the end. This was all very, very good, very pleasant. Just given, the right words at the right time, and I love the situation too. He's just walking down the middle of the street with his suitcase, and then just every guy approaches him from every single direction,
from every angle. Yeah, fucking kills me. Yeah. Man. Well, and like again, logistically, like one of the things going through my mind is like I love that they had to like shut down a portion of a city to do this. Like they had to permit. Be like, we're gonna block off the highway.
Why?
A couple
Big
of
chasing?
major roads.
Yeah. Like
no, he's gonna get jumped, and we've got to send Cheryl Lee on some cable. Yeah.
Whoa. The pink bubble flashing, it almost like hypnotized me. I swear to God, like while watching, I'm like, dang, what is it? What's this actual magic going on here? It like, whoom, it lit up my whole room. It was like flashing in the hum of it all was like a moment.
Special filmmaker, special movie, special performers, and that's I almost get moved to tears talking about any David Lynch movie, just because obviously now, again, it's been a year since he's been gone, and there's this.
An artist's work does for some reason it just becomes more valuable. Yeah,
it does. And and I hadn't been attached to Lynch for long before he passed, but I knew very, very quickly that he was one of my favorite artists ever. I watched Twin Peaks. I think prior to watching Twin Peaks, I'd watched Blue Velvet and Mulholland Drive. And I was kind of like, okay, interesting. Maybe I could see myself liking this. And then I watched Twin Peaks and I watched Blue Velvet again. And I was like, it's like a fucking codex, baby. Everything's clicked. I'm so fucking in. It's not even funny. And then I watched all the rest of Lynch's stuff. And I just fell head over heels, man. Like, the only thing I didn't save it with the intention of waiting until he passed, but there was only one thing left after he passed that I hadn't watched yet, and it was The Straight Story. And, because again, I'd heard it was the most straightforward David Lynch film. It's the least, and I would recommend that method. Regardless of how you approach anything, I would recommend Straight Story last. Not because it's the worst or not because it's the simplest, but just I think you'll kind of feel it when you get there. You'll get there and you'll go, yeah, that is kind of it. And I don't know, it's just it. I would do that if I were you.
Okay. Yeah.
I wonder what the order of operations is for me when it comes to the order I watched Lynch stuff, because I'm very confident Blue Velvet was first, if not second. It's either that or Mulholland Drive. Let's see. I'll be able to tell you here in just a moment. Firewalk with Me definitely wasn't first. Blue Velvet, first time I watched that was early 2023. Mulholland Drive was a couple days after, so Blue Velvet was first. Let's see. Elephant Man would have been pretty early. A couple weeks after that. Inland Empire was much later. About a year and a half later, a few months before David Lynch died. Lost Highway was a month before that. I just slowly chipped away at everything. Eraserhead. I watched Eraserhead a lot fast, if I remember correctly. Like, it was kind of a Cure-esque. Yeah. Like, I was like, whoa, yeah. But yeah, according to this, Wild at Heart would have been the fifth David Lynch movie I watched. So again, on a very similar trajectory.
There we are.
Only difference is I don't think I watched Eraserhead until after. Nope, I watched Eraserhead before also. Is that right?
Yeah, I watched...
No, I did not. Sorry. That's the difference, is that Eraserhead was after Wild at Heart for me. Mulholland Drive was plugged into that slot for you.
Yeah, I had good old Fire Walk with Me first, and then it was like, okay, I need to get to the others. Then
that's the thing, is that Fire Walk with Me is like, again, it comes with the caveat of being a part of something bigger than itself, and there's like, it almost feels like cheating to pick it, but yeah. It is still that good of a movie. Like, you've already viewed Fire Walk with Me in the context of a greater story. And now that you're finished with The Return, you'll be able to watch Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be able to just watch Fire Walk with Me. And then you will see how brilliant a standalone film it is. Like, I do think you gain a lot from watching Twin Peaks before you watch Fire Walk with Me. And don't get me wrong, if you ever have any interest in watching Twin Peaks, you should not just watch Fire Walk with Me. But if you have no interest in watching Twin Peaks and you're not a TV person, you don't like TV shows, you're just a movie person, Fire Walk with Me stands alone. It does an incredible job at being on its own. Like, it's a wildly good movie, and I think Lynch is just, transcended medium when it comes to Twin Peaks specifically. Like, having done 2 seasons, he didn't do 2 seasons of television, he did 6 episodes from 2 seasons of television and helped write it and all that good stuff. So, but did that, then did a movie, then did fucking 18 hours of TV that people still contend doesn't count as a TV show, which is stupid. But, there are some who are like, that's not just TV. Like, that's reductive of TV as an art and as a medium. But it is TV, but God, it feels like it's more. And that's what's incredible about it.
Yeah. It's art. It's not real. You can't. It isn't just one thing. I don't know if one label does apply, because it's not a regular show. I don't know what I would call it.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
not. No, and obviously at its core, format-wise, release-wise, all that, it's television. But there is, it's art. It is a work of art, and I think that there's. That's why that can be said about his entire filmography, dude. Like, that's why
he is gone. Like, I think that is, like, it is just you don't realize how good it is until you realize you can't get any more, and is out that can be.
Well,
out,
and that's the thing, is his last feature film was 10, 11 years before The Return released. Like, there's not.
Wow. Yeah.
There was and there are stories that at the time of his passing, he was working on a script in which Kyle MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Naomi Watts, like a lot of people were going to come back and were going to be another Lynch thing. But there's also stories that he had trouble getting stuff off the ground because Netflix, and he's not palatable, like he's not a everybody's gonna love this fucking filmmaker. No, like it's
his
not
marketer must
easy
hate
to access.
His job. That is a tough.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh my God. How do you market that man?
He tried to campaign. He campaigned for Laura Dern to get an Oscar nomination for Inland Empire, which is so fucking incredible. Because, she genuinely deserved it. But, again, it's a David Lynch movie, and it was probably the most bizarre, out there, weird, crazy movie he ever did, which is saying a lot. And she was just never going to get nominated for it. Like, it was never going to happen. The Academy was never going to be like, Inland Empire, how about it? No, it was never going to happen. And he's still, like, he sat on like street corners with signs that said like, vote for Laura Dern and shit like that. Like it's there's such a profound love he had for Laura Dern, and a profound love that his regular stars and his friends had for him. And it's just, he's a special filmmaker, and he inspires me. There's not a single day, I think, in the last year and a day that has passed without me thinking about David Lynch. And
that's true. Wow, that's kind of wild to think about. He's done what he wants to do. He might have died in his real life form, but never, not even close, in memory or in
he transcended so deeply that we've talked about this numerous times, even on the Twin Peaks podcast and on several different shows. That's like, you die twice. Once when you actually die, and once the last time your name is spoken. And there are some artists that I just genuinely don't think that second time will ever happen. And I think he's one of them. Like it's just never going to happen. There will never be a last time.
Man, it's at least right now, this one is pretty top tier for all the Lynch, but I think that's just due to the fact I haven't gotten to as many or the others.
I envy you, but that's the thing too, is that there's so much to love that a first watch of Lynch movies, while special, it doesn't mean as much as a first watch of other things. It's like, Twin Peaks, I wish I could watch for the first time again, but that really might be the only thing Lynch has touched that I'm like, God, I wish I could watch that for the first time again. No, like, it all benefits from being seen more than once. And I think that's just a true testament to his art. And so I'll quit eulogizing. I've done a lot of talking about David Lynch over the last year. I know I have. And
I'll glaze the man till I die. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I won't even call it glaze. It's just deserved, bro. It just is.
I'm just speaking facts, actually.
I'll never forget. When he did pass. Like I felt it. I cried, and Emily, like, for a couple days I wasn't cool, and Emily, like, a couple days after the fact, there's still stuff where she, like, the closest comparison she has as far as an artist she loved as much is like Taylor Swift, and she's like, I can't even, like, she's like, the way I would feel if that happened is how you must feel. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh my God. Like, that was how, like, just your favorite artist ever. Like, go with that. That's that. Like, that's how, and I haven't felt that way parasocially about anybody ever. And I probably never will again. And what's crazy is the only other one, and I won't even put it out there. Won't even put that energy out into the world. But David Lynch will live forever in the hearts and minds of people who take on his art for centuries to come.
He's so damn powerful. He's infiltrated my dreams the last 2 nights.
Yep.
I mean, it's just so I can't escape. Not that I want to escape it. It's just it's empowering. It's overpowered. It's all there is right now.
There is. It's all encompassing, and now's the time. Get on those Lynch movies. Really take them on. Really experience it.
A fun stop along the romance road here. This one, it was a good
definitely
nice...
the most out there. Definitely the most out there in comparison to Past Lives, Titanic, and then those to come, In the Mood for Love and Moonstruck. Now, don't get me wrong, Nick Cage really goes for it in Moonstruck also. There's no normal Nick Cage performance. He really goes for it no matter what, but it's different. It is different.
No Elvis accent here, or
no
what's
Elvis
the
accent,
just
no,
normal Nick Cage
falls
voice?
In love with an Italian woman. That's kind of all.
Yeah, I mean, it's Cher. I mean, it's like fair.
How could
fair
you not?
Enough.
Yeah, Cher. Yeah, it's Cher in 1987.
Damn. Yeah.
So, man, it's one. We talked about this, with Titanic last week. That's another one of those has there ever been anybody more beautiful on a camera for me. I think that Cher and Moonstruck, and I haven't gotten as much backup on that one. I haven't seen that take elsewhere. I just think she's drop dead fucking gorgeous in Moonstruck, and there's something ethereal about Cher and Moonstruck. So we'll get there here in a couple weeks. Laura Dern kind of has that here. Isabella Rossellini has that in a lot of places, specifically Death Becomes Her. I strongly recommend that one as well. But I think that's all I've got on Wild at Heart. Special movie by a special filmmaker starring some special performers, and don't get much better than that. So with that, I'll do some plugs. We'll rate this movie, and then we'll get out of here. Like I said, we do have a Twin Peaks podcast, Fire Pod, with me. Friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher, like Joseph was watching it for the first time, and I was rewatching it for the fourth time, I think. Third or fourth time. And deeply, deeply special show. If you want to hear us ogle Lynch even more than we already have here and really, really dive into a story scene by scene, episode by episode, Twin Peaks Fire Pod with me is the place to be. You got to check it out. We are in the midst of The Return, and we will be wrapping it up on February 2nd. And then we'll be doing a special episode on February 24th, kind of looking back and doing a lot of what we did here, to be honest, but regarding Twin Peaks. I just, if you're like me, you can't get enough of doing stuff like that. So, we've got a lot to look forward to. Not much left over there on Fire Pod with me, but there's no time like the present to catch up. Go ahead and check that out. Leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. I would appreciate it greatly. It's the only metric I get to track is downloads and ratings and reviews, and I would love it. I love getting feedback. I love knowing what we're doing right. And if you say we're doing something wrong, I'm going to ignore you. No, I'm just kidding. I love constructive criticism as long as it's constructive. If it's not constructive, I will ignore it, as I jokingly threatened prior.
Since it's criticism, that's it. You know, it's just bad. You're just, I don't know.
If you're just being mean to be mean, fuck off.
Put negativity out
there. No need for that. There's enough negativity out there. Let's be positive. Let's be loving. Leave a 5-star rate and review like I asked. I'd appreciate it. Not a lot of folks listen to that part. Even shows I listen to, I don't leave a lot of ratings and reviews.
That's true.
It's just not a habit you get into.
Yeah.
I started doing the plugs. I said, I'm going to do some plugs. We're going to rate and review this thing. People clicked out. They decided that's enough of the episode. That's it. And I get it. I do the same thing. I would just appreciate those who are here to go ahead and leave that 5-star rate and review. It would mean a lot to me. Go ahead and share this with any Lynch head that you've got in your life. Anybody who likes Twin Peaks, anybody who likes, Laura Dern, Nick Cage. You know somebody who likes Nick Cage. You know that fucking weirdo that lives around the corner who's like a really big Nick Cage fan. Yeah, him. Go ahead and, download this, burn this onto a CD, and put it on his front porch just for fun.
That's so.
Put a weird picture on the front.
That would be so wild. To open your front door and just Wild at Heart is sitting on your front porch in a DVD as well.
Not even Wild at Heart. Burn our disc. Episode covering Wild at Heart onto a CD, onto a CD, and give it to him.
Yes,
just for funsies. That's. We also got a show called Geek with Me. We're currently deciding what our next steps are there in the wake of the Fire Pod with me coming to a close here soon. So you can head to Geek with Me, see if we've done anything yet. I don't think we will have by now, but we will be soon. So Geek with Me, there's 650 episodes over there, so it's not like there's nothing for you to check out there. There's a ton of fucking shit, but it's all there for you now. So let's leave a 5-star rate and review, and then let's rate this episode on a scale. This movie on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you feeling about Wild at Heart?
I did give it actually a 5-star rate and review on Letterboxd. So
that's what I like to hear. So did I.
But I don't know if it's the 10 over here. I don't. It's an instant 5-star.
The Sentimental-o-meter is different
than
the Letterboxd rating and review.
Yeah. We've hit 2 10s, Past Lives, Titanic, bang. I mean, there was no hesitation with those. I feel like those are just kind of all-time movies that they're They just are. And Lynch is like almost there to bring it to a 10, but it would just be for that reason. And I don't really want to do that, even though it would be real nice to have this month just be a fucking banger.
I'm with you. It's not a 10. It's not a 10 for me. Just because I know what is a Lynch 10, and he's got him. He's got him. And this isn't one of them. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still going like 9.5. Like I'm still going 9.5 personally. Yeah. Like I still think it's a beautiful looking movie, a beautiful sounding movie, incredibly scored, an incredible soundtrack with incredible performances. Like it doesn't get a ton better than this. I just know that it does get better than this. So I do go 9.5 here.
I think I like that too. The previous Lynch's we both gave Eraserhead a 9.75, and Blue Velvet we split. You gave a 10, I gave a 9.75. But maybe the Lynch 10 that there is.
That's actually
of the group.
Exactly how I feel about this right now. Yeah. Like that's perfect for me.
I like it.
And I know good. Fire Walk with Me got 10s across the board, so I feel incredible about that order of operations thus far with our coverage of Lynch films. But 9.5 across the board for Wild at Heart. A low point for the month so far, but
that's crazy. You're low. Yeah,
I mean, we picked some fucking heaters. We picked some fucking heaters for the romance month, baby. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's we just this one actually suffered for being a Lynch movie because we're like, well, we know what a Lynch 10 is, you know.
True.
But
98.
It is what
average
it is.
Still a little above a 98. So I mean, I think. On the month, I think we're doing.
It's going to be a banger, and we've got nothing but goodies to look forward to. In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai. I get to introduce you to another incredible filmmaker next week. Wong Kar-wai is a legend, and I can't wait for you to watch your first Wong Kar-wai film. In the Mood for Love, and then Moonstruck to top the month off, another Nick Cage, and the only one for me that gives Nick Cage's best a run for its money.
Wow. I'll get two Nick Cage all-timers here. Yeah,
two Nick Cage all-timers this month. You didn't think you were getting that out of Romance Month, did you? We got that on lock here, baby. Sentimentalists, where you find out you like Nick Cage. Yep, that's what we've got. Stick with us. You shall not be disappointed. I was Colton Robertson, and I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, this world is wild at heart and weird on top.